Northern political and opinion leaders have strongly faulted the suggestion that the North owes its continued existence to the South, given the perceived total dependence of Northerners on Southerners for survival. They dismiss as untenable the arguments in some quarters that the strident opposition to calls for the restructuring of Nigeria by Northern leaders was informed by the realization that the North cannot do without the resources of the South, which remain the economic mainstream of the country. Prominent Northern leaders interviewed by Arewa Voice posited that Nigeria as a federal state must subsist on the basis of equal existence. It will be recalled that Professor Ango Abdullahi, leader of the Northern Elders Forum, had in an interview described as stupidity the notion that the northern region is dependent on the south for its survival. The former vice-chancellor of Ahmadu Bello University, Abu Zaria, had said that although most of the foreign exchange came from the sale of oil, agriculture, majorly done in the north, still remained the sustainer of the country. He said, no, 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 that is stupidity, because up to this point, as I speak to you, this is the north that is sustaining the country. It is the north that is sustaining this country, because agriculture is still the sustainer of this country. Agriculture contributes at least 45% of GDP as I speak to you now, while oil contributes about 13%. So if you are talking about foreign exchange, money that is earned from outside, most of the foreign exchange comes from the sale of crude oil, but the social fabric of Nigeria is sustained by agriculture, and I speak to you now. So it is sheer stupidity of ignorance, or ignorance as its way, for people to think that the North is parasitic to the Nigerian state. In fact, it is the sale that is today parasitic to North, because without the efforts of the peasant farmer in the North, the crisis in Nigeria would have probably taken us to the level of disintegration at this particular point in time. Don't inflame false lines, Sani. For Anthony Sani, immediate past Secretary General of Arewa Consultative Forum, ACF, and one-time National Publicity Secretary of the Forum, when some people posit that the North depends on the South, I see that as inflaming our fault lines and wonder the basis and the wisdom of such position. I do not share such views. This is because we are expected to live a symbolic livelihood. Analysis of distribution of access to national resources by way of projects, appointment, employment, and major contracts would hardly avoid the conclusion that distribution of access to national resources has skewed against the North. For example, go to any of the federal universities in the North and see how the lecturers and workers are mostly from the South. Because of poor level of education, most Northerners are farmers and in fact produce the bulk of the foods that meat for the country, while Southerners who have the edge in education have more access to the national resources than their northern counterparts. The oil wealth, which is not as a result of hard work, accounts for most of the nation's foreign exchange needed for importation of goods and services that are undertaken mostly by the Southerners, who are the importers. Also, the 13% derivation to ameliorate the effects of environmental degradation makes it possible for one oil producing state to cut home with a whole non-oil producing geopolitical zone collect from the federation accounts. And when you consider the fact that the event, though oil has been producing most of the revenues for running of government, its contribution to GDP is less than that by agriculture, mostly undertaken by the North. Sani, who was also the spokesman of Northern delegates in the 2014 confab, explained that Nigerians should know that nation building is a continuous process, and the fact that in the history of nations, the power and the powerless, the rich and the poor often change places. Jericho did not last forever. Sani, currently a member of the governing council of Ahmadu Bello Memorial Foundation and a member of Northern Media Forum, also said So Nigerians come together and unleash their synergistic potential against collective challenges for larger interests. Mechanism of community living should not be zero-sum game where winners take all. I say this because it is possible for the nation to make the most of the differences with respect and dignity by working hard to overcome what divides the people. No nation thrives through victory of its faction, but by ultimate reconciliation. Unholy Debate by Hayab. On his own part, Reverend John Joseph Hayab, chairman of the Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, in Kaduna State, said that the provision of the Nigeria Constitution and the current practice in Nigeria do not give a region the power to the other region was depending on her. He told Arewa Voice that economically we all get our funds from the federal allocation, even though some other regions get some more percentage of the derivation from the federal allocation, but it is from the same source and on the same day. Every part of Nigeria has something she brings to the table for others to benefit. The regions may not bring an equal amount to the central treasury, but that is why we are a federation. Discussing if the North was dependent on the South for survival, if not done from a mature mind, carefully, can only add to the unholy debates which have served to destroy our unity as a nation. Selfish regional champions. Some questions that may beg for answers will include: before Nigeria found oil, what was Nigeria's source of income? Has the North or other regions ever contributed to the national economy, and are they still contributing to the national economy? Mishandling of such a subject by many selfish regional champions has made them use it to create unnecessary tension in their region about who owns this nation and who is feeding who. The simple answer is here, that yes, the North is not dependent on the South, and as a unit in this federation, the North is contributing power supply, food, through agriculture, and most importantly, our human resources, which is the greatest strength for the survival of our national assets and the stability of our economy. Accordingly, our federal system supports and allows rich people to build factories and industries in every part of this country. Rich northerners have factories everywhere, giving citizens job opportunities without sectional biases, and that builds and sustains the economy. Hayab said, given the above points, no part of the federation should be seen as being dependent on the other. Instead, citizens should see themselves as people with equal rights and opportunities, building a virile and endurable nation. Second Republic Deputy Senate President and a founding member of the Congress for Progressive Change (CPC), Senator Mamman Dan Musa, also lambasted those proposing or supporting the notion that the North can't survive if Nigeria is restructured. The elder statesman and veteran lawyer declared that, contrary to the belief that the North is dependent on the South, the North is equally endowed as the South. Dan Musa said, for us, really, it is nonsense for anybody to think that the North can't survive without the oil from in the South. No, it's false. There are so many things in favor of the North. It's only a question of responsible leadership. But we have so many things that if we are focused and working and have visionary leadership, certainly it will not be a question of dependence. No, they should know that we have resources, we have land, we have so many things in our favor. Okay, North, South depend on each other. In his reaction, former Executive Secretary, Petroleum Tax Development Fund, PTDF, Dr. Mutaka Rabe Dama, said that no particular region, society, or even individual is an island unto itself, that it can survive on its own and not interact with others. The North and South are interconnected, interdependent on one another. But on the other hand, if you are talking about If there is no south, for example, the north cannot survive, then I will tell you no is capital no, he further explained. There is symbolic relationship according to Abu. Chief Joshua Abu, an elder statesman and former executive director with the National Orientation Agency in Abuja, said the relationship between the North and South in terms of resources is symbolic. He stated that first and foremost, it is even wrong to generalize the entire South as their, their Southeast, Southwest, and South-South that produces the oil. If the South-South is claiming the North is a parasite on the region, that region should ask itself what were the sources of Nigeria's revenue before the discovery of oil at Olubori in the present Bayelsa State in 1965. What was the significance of oil before its discovery and exploration by the Shell Oil? What revenue did Nigeria use to fund exploration? Chief Abu quipped. He explained that before the discovery of oil, groundnut, hides and skin, cotton among other products were the major revenue earners for the country, while stressing that oil discovery and exploration has been the major bane of Nigeria's underdevelopment. Abu maintained that all regions of the country complement each other in terms of resources. Okay, it is derogatory to call North parasites. Another respondent, Dr. Stephen Manza, the Catholic Bishop of Yola, opened that to say the North is a parasite on the South is more or less derogatory, as Nigeria is made up of states and regions and all the resources belonging to all. He said regions or states cannot be equal endowments, cannot have equal endowments of resources, but that it is left for the leaders to ensure that the resources are harnessed for the benefit of all. Mamza, who doubles as the chairman of the Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, Adamawa State chapter, was quick to add that what the North is getting from the South is commensurate with what is going out of the North to the region. So if you are talking of parasite, both regions are parasites of each other. Develop, agree, and wipe away the notion. A chieftain of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) in Taraba State, Aditarang Irama, said there are several arguments about the distribution of national wealth, and I am sure the South-South is part of Nigeria. Before the discovery of oil, the country had relied on several national endowments from different parts of the country. The Southwest had cocoa and the North had groundnuts, but the discovery of crude oil in, in the South-South has further diversified our economy. Though those economic resources from other parts of the country were not giving us as much as what we got from crude oil when it was discovered. However, the sentiment of the South-South is not out of place because the development of that area is not proportionate to what is being extracted from there. In an ideal society and economy, they were supposed to be given certain consideration over and above other parts. Besides, our relationship economically is supposed to be symbiotic and not parasitic. This we can do by making other sectors of the economy more viable than they are today, so that the man in the South-South shouldn't have the sentiment that it is only his area that is being exploited and the North and Southwest are only feeding on the resources, because that is the impression now. But if we give attention to agriculture and proper exploitation of other natural resources, that sentiment won't be peddled. Okay, so guys, these people have really spoken well, but the question now is that then what is now, or what is then the problem? Because the north, the people from the north, they are saying, it is absolute rubbish to say that the north is parasitic, that they depend on south and south in general. And you have heard some of them who spoke on this issue. So what is now the problem? That means the problem is the leadership, in my opinion, from what I could really deduce from what they have said. Now, if it is not like that, then why is everything upside down? Then if you can say so, because some of them made mention of the problem, which is the leadership, then what is now the problem that things are not just going the way they ought to go? That is the questions, answer begging for, and a question begging for answers. And those who have put this article together is Ibrahim Hassan Huyo, Andy Asemota, Umar Yusuf, and Femi Bolaji. Someone is saying here that the best way to solve this eminent problem between the North and South is to disassociate the union between the two groupings, so that every part will pathway to enjoy its dividend. That will help to put an end to this unhealthy debate about the greedy North and Southern Nigeria. Someone say, is it that Anglo Abdullahi is suffering from memory loss, or his mentality now is characterized by old age? How can he tell the whole world that oil from the contributes that the oil just contributes 13% to the GDP of this country? This is the highest level of ignorance. So guys, let us hear your opinion with the submission of this people. Leave your comment below respectfully, and let's have your take. Thank you.